My brother used my wedding fund to buy an engagement ring for his girlfriend. You're not even dating anyone, he laughed. Mom agreed. When you find someone, we'll help. I smiled and congratulated them. 6 months later, I eloped in Bali. When I posted photos of our $290,000 villa reception, my phone exploded. 118 missed calls. My name is Dean. I'm 34. I own a small but growing chain of grocery stores. 6 locations now, all within a couple hours of each other. I'm the steady one in my family. You know the type. If the car breaks, I'm the call. If the rent is late, I'm the call. If someone just needs a little help until Friday, it's my problem. My younger brother Kyle is the opposite. He's funny, loud, always has a new plan, always has a new girlfriend, always has a new emergency. My mom calls him spirited. I call him expensive. That Sunday, I walked into my parents' house with a store-brand pie in one hand and my phone still buzzing in my pocket from work. Someone had texted me a photo of a pallet stacked wrong in store number 3. Great. My mom was already in hostess mode. Candles lit, fancy plates out. Her company voice turned on. Dean, there you are, she said like I was late to my own performance. Shoes off. We're about to eat. Kid was on the couch scrolling, smiling at his phone like it owed him money. Dad sat in his usual spot, watching sports at a volume that made the windows vibrate. Kay looked up and grinned. Hey, big man, he said. How's life as the town's most boring millionaire? I laughed because that's what I do. I keep it light. I keep it moving. Still breathing, I said. That's my hobby. We sat down at the table. My mom brought out roast chicken like we weren't 2 seconds away from an announcement. Kyle cleared his throat dramatically, tapping his glass with a fork. Okay, he said. Okay, listen up for a second. My mom's face lit up like someone flipped a switch. Dad muted the TV. Kyle stood up, took his phone out, and held it up like he was about to read a speech. I'm getting married. Mom actually gasped. Dad did the proud nod thing. Kyle turned his phone around and showed a photo of a ring on a woman's hand. Big rock, bright lighting, perfect angle. Her name is Tessa, Kyle said like he'd discovered her. And she said, yes. Mom clapped her hands. Oh my God, Kyle. Dad grunted. Good for you, son. I smiled. I did. Automatic like muscle memory. Congrats, I said. Seriously. Kyle sat back down, pleased with himself, soaking it up. Then he looked straight at me, and his grin got sharper. You know what's funny? He said. I felt my stomach tighten because when Kyle says funny, it's usually aimed at me. He nodded toward the ring photo again. This cost more than your entire dating history. Mom laughed too fast. I blinked. What? Kyle leaned back, enjoying the attention. I'm just saying, he continued. You've been talking about someday forever, but you're not even dating anyone. So what are you saving for exactly? There it was. That old family script. Dean works. Dean saves. Dean waits. Dean doesn't get a life until everyone else is done spending his. I kept my voice calm. I'm happy for you, Kyle. Kyle smirked. Yeah, you should be. Someone in this family has to live a little. Mom chimed in immediately like she couldn't stand any silence that didn't worship him. Your brother is starting a family, she said, gently scolding me like I was the immature one. It's different. I stared at my plate. Kyle pointed his fork at me. Come on, Dean. Don't do that sad face thing. You're fine. I'm not doing anything, I said. Mom reached across the table and patted Kyle's hand. It's okay, she told him like I was the problem. Dean will understand. When he finds someone, we'll help, right, honey? Dad nodded without looking up from his food. Sure. I felt heat climb my neck. Not because I needed their help, but because they said it like I was a kid waiting for an allowance. Like my future only counted if they approved the timing. Kyle laughed, actually laughed, and said, yeah, when you find someone, if you find someone, I swallowed it. I smiled. Congrats, I said again. Seriously, that ring is huge. Kyle's grin widened. Right, I didn't cheap out. Mom beamed at him like he'd cured a disease. And I sat there smiling like a good sport while something inside me quietly started doing math. Not money math, family math. The kind where you finally realize you've been the extra wallet at the table this whole time. Here's the part one usually skip when I tell stories because it makes me sound like I'm trying to win sympathy, but you need to understand the dynamic. I built my business from nothing. I worked in a grocery store in high school, stocking shelves at 5 a.m. before class, bagging groceries on weekends. I liked it. It was simple. It made sense. Work hard, Get paid, go home. I saved every check. Kay didn't. Kay was always between jobs. Always about to start something big. Always just needs a little boost. And my parents treated Ka like a project, a lovable disaster they had to protect from consequences. Meanwhile, I was the stable one, so I got less attention, fewer celebrations, and more responsibility. When I opened my first store, my mom told me she was proud of me. Then she asked if I could cover Kyle's car payment that month. I did it. When I opened my second store, my dad shook my hand and said, "Not bad." Then Kyle called me the next day saying he'd invested his savings into some friend's app idea and needed rent money. I did it. It got to the point where my help wasn't a favor anymore. It was assumed like gravity. So, a few years ago, I started a separate savings account, my wedding fund. Not because I had someone, not because I had a ring, just because I wanted the option. I wanted to stand in a nice place one day, look at a person I loved, and not have to count pennies while my family made jokes. I'm not flashy. I don't buy watches. I don't drive anything exotic. My one luxury was security. I put money into that account every month, sometimes more when business was good. And yes, this is where I was careless. My mom was listed on the account, not as an owner, but as a beneficiary and an authorized person in case something happened to me. Why? Because when I opened stores, I was dealing with leases, insurance, paperwork, and a million moving parts. My mom offered to help keep things organized. And because I'm an idiot, part of me still wanted her involved, still wanted that feeling of being a team. She'd say things like, "It's good to have family oversight, Dean. You work too much. What if you get sick? What if something happens?" So I allowed it. It was convenient. It felt responsible. And honestly, I believed the money was safe because the account was meant for no one but me. Also, I wasn't single. I just wasn't advertising it. I met Maya at one of my stores. She was standing in the aisle comparing two types of rice like it was a life or death decision. I made a stupid joke. She laughed. We kept talking. Maya didn't care that I owned the store. She didn't ask for freebies or act impressed. She asked what I did for fun, and I almost didn't know how to answer that we took things slow. Quiet dinners. Late night walks after I finished store paperwork. She'd sit in my office while I answered emails, just being there like it wasn't a burden. I didn't tell my family about her at first. Partly because I wanted something that was mine alone, and partly because I knew exactly what would happen. Kyle would make jokes. Mom would start helping. Suddenly, my private relationship would turn into family business. So I kept it quiet. Then Kyle announced his engagement, and I had to sit there listening to, "You're not even dating anyone." Like my life was just filler between his milestones. A few days later, my mom called. Not about my stores. Not about my health. About Kyle. "Dean," she said, her voice soft and sweet. "Kyle is just so happy." "That's good," I said, already bracing myself. There was a pause, the kind that means money is coming. "The ring was, well," she continued. "It cost more than he expected." I didn't respond. She rushed on. "He's going to pay it off, of course, but weddings are expensive. And I just want him to start off right." "What are you asking?" I said. She did that thing where she acted offended that I made her say it out loud. "I'm not asking," she insisted. "I'm just saying you have that savings account. The one for your future." "The wedding fund," I said. "Yes," she replied quickly. "And you're not using it right now, Dean. It's family." My stomach dropped. "That's not family money," I said slowly. "That's mine." She sighed like I was being unreasonable. "Don't be selfish. It's not like you're getting married tomorrow." I almost laughed, because the truth was I was closer than she knew. Maya and I had talked about it. Real plans, real timelines. I didn't tell my mom that. I just said, "No," silence. Then her voice turned cold. "So you're going to punish your brother for finding love?" "I'm not punishing anyone," I said. "I'm protecting my money." She snapped. "You always do this. You act like you're the only one who works." "I am the only one who works consistently," I said. She gasped. "How dare you?" Then she used the line that always worked when I was younger. "I thought you cared about this family." I didn't answer. I did care. That was the problem. That night, I checked my banking app. The wedding fund was still there. The balance looked normal. No strange transactions. I told myself maybe she was just testing me. Maybe she'd let it go. A week passed. Then two. Kyle started texting me more than usual, which is always a bad sign. "Yo bro, you free? Need a quick opinion. Call me when you can." I ignored it. Then, While I was walking a store aisle checking end caps, I got a notification. Withdrawal pending. I stopped in front of the cereal section like my legs forgot how to work. I opened the app. There it was, a large cashier's check request, payable to a jewelry store in the next city. The amount made my throat go dry. I called my mom immediately. She answered on the first ring. "Hi, honey," she said brightly. "Did you touch my account?" I asked. A beat of silence. Then, too casually, she said, "Dean, don't make this ugly." That's when I knew. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a misunderstanding. They did it. And they expected me to accept it. I drove straight to my parents' house. No call. No warning. Kyle's car was in the driveway. Of course it was. I walked in without taking my shoes off. Mom was in the kitchen, calm as ever. Kyle sat at the table, scrolling his phone, smiling. "Oh," he said, looking up. "Someone's mad." I held up my phone. "Explain this." Mom didn't even pretend. She crossed her arms. "Kyle needed it." Kyle laughed. "Relax. It's an investment. I'm marrying Tessa. It's serious." I stared at him. "You used my wedding fund to buy your girlfriend a ring." He shrugged. "Fiancé." Mom stepped forward, her voice sharp. "Stop calling it your wedding fund like you're a victim," my mom snapped. "You're not even dating anyone." My jaw clenched. Kyle laughed. "Yeah, you're not even dating anyone. You were just saving it for spreadsheets." "I am dating someone," I said slowly. Mom blinked. Kyle's grin slipped. Then he laughed louder. "Sure. What? Is she Canadian?" Mom waved it off. "Even if you are, we'll help when you find someone real." I pulled up the transaction and read it out loud. Cashier's check to Lux Jewelers. $48,900. Mom's face tightened. Kyle whistled. "Nice, right?" "That wasn't authorized," I said. "Don't use that word in my house." Mom snapped. "Relax," Kyle said. "You're being dramatic." I took a breath. "Here's what's going to happen. You're removed from every account. Today. And I'm done funding Kyle's life." Kyle sat up. "What? No more car payments. No loans. No emergencies. This is over a ring," he said. "This is over you stealing from me." Dad walked in. "What's going on?" "They took $48,000 from my account," I said. Mom crossed her arms. It was for Kyle's future. That was the moment I stopped hoping they'd ever see me as a son instead of a resource. "You can pay it back?" I said. "With what?" Kyle laughed. "Not my problem. You think you're better than us because you have money?" Mom hissed. "No," I said. "I think I deserve basic respect." Kyle smirked. "Still haven't earned a wife." Something in me went calm. "Enjoy the ring," I said. "It's the last thing you're getting from me." Mom grabbed my arm. "Don't punish the family." "I'm not punishing anyone," I said. "I'm reacting appropriately." At the door, I turned back. "If there's one more withdrawal, I file a police report. I don't care who it is." I walked out. I expected guilt. Instead, I felt air. That night, I went to Maya. I told her everything. She listened and said quietly, "They don't see you. They see a piggy bank." She asked, "Do you still want a wedding?" "I want you," I said. "I want peace." A week later, I locked down my finances, removed my mom from everything, and stopped paying Kyle's bills. The text started. I didn't answer. Silence became my boundary. Maya and I decided to get married our way. No guilt. No circus. Maya had always wanted to go to Bali. I wanted one stretch of time where my phone didn't ring every few seconds. So we planned something quiet and intentional. No drama, no revenge. Just us and a small group of people we trusted. A handful of close friends, Maya's sister and her husband. That was it. We booked a private villa in Bali. Ocean view, long pool, open-air dinners. It felt unreal. Yes, it was expensive, but it wasn't debt or recklessness. It was money I could spend because I had stopped funding Kyle's chaos that we eloped. Maya walked toward me barefoot, smiling like she knew a secret. I cried. We ate under string lights, laughed with friends, and for once I didn't feel like I had to brace for someone to ruin it. It was calm. It was ours. When we posted photos a few days later, my phone exploded. Missed calls from my parents, Kyle, relatives I barely spoke to. Not one message said congratulations. They were angry we hadn't included them. Maya asked if I wanted to answer. I thought about the laughs, the insults, my money turned into a ring. I said no. Later, I listened to one voicemail. My mom was furious. People were asking why they weren't there. Kyle was devastated. I had spent money on a wedding instead of helping family. I deleted it halfway through. I sent one message. Yes, we got married. I chose not to include anyone who thought stealing from me was acceptable. Please don't contact Maya. Email me if needed. I'm blocking calls for now. Then I blocked them. Over the next months, I heard the fallout. Kyle's wedding stalled. My mom tried to pressure relatives for money. I went back to my life. Stores, marriage, peace. My money stayed mine. My marriage stayed protected. My mom eventually emailed, disappointed, not apologetic. Said I overreacted and humiliated them. I replied once, Kyle stole from me. You helped him. That wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. I didn't exclude you to punish you. I did it to protect my marriage and my peace. If you want a relationship, it starts with repayment and a real apology. They never repaid. They never apologized. Kyle texted once more. Hope the villa was worth losing your family. It was worth gaining my life. That here's the truth. If someone only loves you when you're funding them, they don't love you, they love access. And the moment you stop being useful, they'll call you selfish. I didn't elope to hurt anyone. I eloped because I finally understood I don't need permission to live, love, or protect my future.